The classic trope of a hero becoming a villain has occurred in many a franchise, and Sonic the Hedgehog is no exception. Generally, the blue blur has a heart of gold and is incredibly loyal to his friends and committed to doing the right thing. But on occasion we've seen Sonic corrupted, whether that be in the comics, in the video games, or in other non-canon materials. It's a thing that the internet really likes to do. So today we're taking a closer look at those instances with our list of the top 10 scary times Sonic went evil. And let's be honest here friends, not all of these are really that scary. I'd say a good chunk of them maybe. Really, these are a combination of scary moments, evil alternates, times Sonic was corrupted, and non-canon evil Sonic scary goodness. So with that in mind, let's get to it. At number 10, SONIC.EXE's hidden message. When you think of evil Sonic, for some, this may be the first thing that comes to mind. And it is arguably one of the first instances in the franchise's history that took the video game series and added a hint of the nefarious to it. In the game SONIC.EXE, there is a bunch of hidden content that players can access if they punch in the right cheat codes. One of them leads to this mystery page that for years was highly debated. Now if you enter FM46, PCM12, DA25, you get this screen filled with disturbing looking Sonics, along with text that reads, "Infinite Fun, Sega Enterprises, signed Majin." Now the pronunciation of Majin sounded like the same word that means devil, which led to many thinking that it was some sort of demonic insert added thanks to supernatural influences. Turns out that Majin was just the nickname of one of the landscape designers of SONIC.EXE, so not so evil after all. Disturbing, yes, but not really evil. And at number 9, Metal Sonic. We can't talk about evil Sonics without bringing up his doppelganger, Metal Sonic. Created by Dr. Robotnik, he's often seen as the secondary antagonist in the Sonic video games, made in Sonic's image in order to compete and defeat him. He can imitate Sonic's moves and can even move at speeds that match the blue blurs. Now initially appearing as Eggman's obedient creation, he's got a mind of his own. And he's a ruthless killer. Plus he's obsessed with being superior to his namesake, to the point where he's actually rebelled against Eggman to achieve that goal. Despite still giving Sonic a run for his money, he's never really managed to truly beat the blue blur in the past. But we'd be lying if we didn't admit that the race battles against him in Sonic the Hedgehog CD didn't have us on the edge of our seats while playing. Ooh. And at 8, Tails Doll. It wouldn't be fair for us to not mention Tails Doll on this list. For starters, it's a different approach to a number. Rather than looking at Sonic, we're looking at a character who's part of the Sonic franchise. Tails Doll is a riff off of the Tails Doll unlockable character from Sonic Racers. The game, which is arguably not really that great, featured a small roster of unlockable characters, one of which was this version of Tails, a robotic doll of sorts. That character spawned a creepypasta about a son and a dad playing Sonic Racers together, and accidentally summoned Tails Doll out of the game, who then is later implied to have murdered the father. It's a fun time. Regardless, Tails Doll has quickly become one of the most well-known evil and scary non-canon transformations to have occurred in the Sonic universe, now immortalized online by those who are fascinated by the creepy tale. No pun intended there. And at 7, Mech Suits Me from Sonic Boom. When one thinks of the Sonic Boom animated television series, evil is likely the last thing to come to mind. Sonic Boom provided a nice little comedic and sometimes tongue-in-cheek vantage point of the Sonic universe, or at least the Sonic Boom universe, despite being linked to a game series that bombed. The Sonic Boom game series, that is. The show was still pretty beloved by Sonic fans though. There have been a few episodes in its past in which Sonic being corrupted was a key plot point, but none are as prominent as the 65th episode of the show titled Mech Suits Me. In it, Sonic finds an ancient mech suit and makes use of it. The suit then makes him significantly more powerful and Sonic develops a dependency on it, with it slowly starting to corrupt him and turn him into a bit of a dick. And at 6, SANIC. Sometimes it's not Sonic who chooses to go evil. It's the internet who chooses for him. Enter SANIC, the now famous meme parody of Sonic the Hedgehog in all of its derpy cringe glory. Now we're not saying that SANIC is evil, but let's be honest, some of the scenarios that he's been adapted to might as well be considered as such. You're welcome. And at 5, the Royal Hedgehogs. This trio appear in the Sonic Underground television series. They're an alternate reality counterpart in another version of Mobius in which they rule over. They're comprised of Sonic, Sonia the Hedgehog, and Manic the Hedgehog, and their absolute power ends up completely corrupting them. Absolutely. Turning them into tyrants who would impoverish the citizens of their Mobius. Now their good counterparts would eventually go on to defeat them, with them realizing how far they had gone, with them working to restore their kingdom back to its previous glory. Moving on to number 4, Dark Sonic. Dark Sonic is from the anime series SONIC.EXE, and is the dark super transformation of our beloved hero. Essentially, this is an evil version of Sonic's supersonic transformation. When Sonic encounters fake Chaos Emeralds, their dark chaos energy negatively impacts him, intensifying his rage. When he sees that his pal Chris has been knocked unconscious and Cosmo has been trapped, his rage causes him to transform into Dark Sonic. He has lightspeed movements which can tear through robots like they were nothing. His speeds are so fast that when he's running he's hardly visible. In this form, Sonic also gains the intention to kill, with his newer dark instincts being rooted in his natural instincts like the desire for survival. Funny enough, it's an encounter with Eggman that actually brings Sonic back down to his normal self after transforming into Dark Sonic. In at number 3, the fan art. Remember how earlier on we mentioned that sometimes it's the internet that chooses to make Sonic evil, corrupting the once family-friendly video game mascot into something perverted and terrifying for all those who dive deep enough into Sonic-related Google image searches? Yeah, enter the bad Sonic fan art. How does it make Sonic evil, and why is it scary? Well, cue that slideshow. Yeah, that's how. Feels gross, doesn't it? You're all welcome, yet again. And at number 2, Scourge, aka Anti-Sonic. Scourge is the perfect example of an evil version of Sonic. From the Archie comics, Scourge, also known as Anti-Sonic and also Evil Sonic, which is kinda obvious, comes from an alternate Mobius, in which he became corrupted and now rules over it. Seeing a trend here. He's been an enemy of Sonic's multiple times in the comics, and even tried absorbing the Chaos energy from the Chaos Emeralds in order to surpass Sonic in power, an experiment that failed but forever altered his fur to be green. Now one thing that really makes Scourge interesting though is this line that he said to Sonic in the comics, that the blue blur is just one bad day away from becoming him. This is actually a reference pulled straight from DC Comics from a conversation between the Joker and Batman, with the former telling the Dark Knight that he's one bad day away from being just like him. Considering that Scourge is the Mobius equivalent to the Joker's insane villain in the DC universe, well, that is a chilling prospect. And finally, in at number 1, SONIC.EXE. SONIC.EXE is arguably the most scary evil Sonic transformation on this list, which makes sense because it's number 1. A fan-made game inspired by a creepypasta of the same name puts Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik under a player's control in this adaptation of the original 1991 Sonic the Hedgehog platformer. One by one, each of those supporting characters is chased down by Sonic through an apocalyptic version of Mobius, corrupting the zones that we once held dear in our hearts, and one by one Sonic tortures them and murders them. There's no explanation why, it just is. Alright, there we have it friends, what other evil versions of Sonic gave you chills? Let us know in those comments below. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and hey, why not subscribe? We'd love it if you stuck around with us some more. In the meantime though, thanks for watching, I'll catch you all in the next video.